Hi, Emma here from the B2BML team. Pop-up forms are a great way to offer content to your website visitors without them having to find a landing page on your site. They can find out about your offer and download it all in one place without having to leave the website page they're on. But how do you build one? There are a few different pop-up form options in the HubSpot tool, which I'm going to run through with you now. Fab, so we're in the pop-up forms tool here. So let's just recap how you get there. You go to marketing, lead capture and pop-up forms. Great, so you can create a pop-up form from scratch. You can also clone any existing pop-up forms as well. I'm just going to go into the one that we created specifically for this demo. So it will, within your analytics here, you'd have the number of people who'd viewed your pop-up box, the people who'd viewed the form, and also the people who submitted the form once it's live. I'm just going to go into edit. And this shows you the pop-up form editor. You can see there's a number of different kind of subheaders along here. Essentially, we go through all of these steps in creating a pop-up form, so it's really user-friendly. Great, so here it's just really important to pause and just make sure that you're choosing the pop-up form type that is suitable for your audience and for the content that you're promoting. So there are a few different options. So you've got the pop-up box, which obviously grays out the rest of the page and makes sure that this is, you know, a very central pop-up box. You've got a drop-down banner, which is a little bit more subtle. It could be something that's good for like blog subscriptions or downloading an ebook on a specific page. Probably wouldn't want it on every page, just because that could be quite intrusive. You've then got a box that slides into the left and a box that slides into the right. And those ones as well just give you a little bit more context as well to the offer that you're promoting. So I'm going to choose a box that's going to slide in from the right, just for the purposes of this demo. And then here you've got basically all the things you need to create your call out text. So what people are first going to see, what's going to grab their attention and engage them. Usually a question is a really good way of doing this, and then in your call out body, just giving that question a little bit more context and try and tease the piece of content that you are promoting. And then you've got your call out button text, so essentially just what you would normally have as a CTA. You can customize the button as well. I've just gone for our B2BML dark blue just to make sure that it stands out a little bit on the page. You can also add an image as well. Of say an ebook. So let me just try and find a thumbnail. Let's just choose that one as an example. And then you can see that your image thumbnail is there as well, if that's something that you'd like to do, just to make sure that you know, people understand the context and have like a tangible understanding of what they would be getting by downloading your piece of content. So moving on to the form, here you can see setting one up from scratch. HubSpot will just give you the email field, obviously, because the email field is on all forms, but you can add up to 3 other fields for the form too. So I'm going to add first name, and move that up. There we are. And then and then company name. Because this is a fairly unintrusive form, it's HubSpot basically limits you to 4 fields. And because also the form itself really shouldn't take that much of the page, so you know, you wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to ask as many questions as you would like, but you would be able to capture that person's contact details and follow up with them as well, and offer them other pieces of content to gradually nurture them. And when they get to that point, they're ready to say book a demo, for example. You have a landing page with a much longer form to capture the data that you would need to pass on to the sales team for a demo. You've then also got your form button text, so download now. And then here you've got your GDPR settings as well. So you can set those up here. The language as well is customizable. You've got loads of different languages you can use. And you can set the lifecycle stage as well of someone who downloads this form. So if your person is actually subscribing to a blog, you can set them as subscriber. But for this ebook, we're just going to set them as lead. And then once you have set up your form and everything, you come to the thank you message. So there's the opportunity to add the message that's going to appear here. And then just make sure that you're adding the link as well to your downloadable piece of content. So you've got thank you for your submission. And you can tailor that a little bit more and just say, here's your free ebook. And then you can take someone to a HubSpot page or blog post or a file download. What we have done here is we've actually added the thank you page, just so that people can go to the thank you page and have other ways of exploring your site. But you can use the file download as well, so you can browse your files and upload your file from the HubSpot file manager here as well. Oops. You can also create follow-up emails as well here. So if we go to create follow-up email, you can customize the sender, you can add a subject line. So just as you would with a follow-up email from a landing page, you can say, hi there, here's your free ebook. And then you can add obviously your emails here. So you can say, again, thanks for downloading, reinstate the value of the offer. You can also add a link to your thank you page. You can see here it's actually quite a stripped down editor. So you can insert a hyperlink, but you can't necessarily insert your CTA link there. You can see as well that personalization tokens you aren't able to use those there either. So it is a very kind of bare bones email, but you are still delivering the offer. So once that is all set up, you've then got your options for when you want this to appear. So you can set this for when a website URL is, all pages on your website, or to tailor them a little bit more to, where someone is on your website. So for example, if they're on your homepage, something very kind of a high level piece of content is great. Whereas if you've got sort of various product and services pages, any more kind of top to middle of the funnel content is useful to include there as well. You've just got to think about where that person is on your site and where they might be in their buyer journey. So you can select different parameters. So you can specify URL. You can also say when you want this to appear. So you've got a couple of options, whether someone's scrolled through more than half of the page, to have a little pop-up appear. It just shows that someone's shown quite a lot of engagement with your website content, so they might be open to an offer. Having a pop-up appear as soon as you land on the page can be quite although that can be eye-catching, it can sort of switch people off from the rest of your page. So you kind of want your page to do some of the work in terms of getting someone engaged, and then you have your offer pop up. You can also use, after someone has spent so long on the page, HubSpot's given you a couple of suggested times and things there as well, just to make sure that if someone is kind of reading through your content or engaging, then you've got the pop-up appearing to make sure that they've got some context to the page before they are shown a pop-up. You have the option as well to schedule them as well. And then one thing just to bear in mind is like how your pop-up form is going to look on mobile. It can, so it doesn't necessarily resize with your mobile page. So the option is there as well to turn it off for mobile. So it's not popping up and actually taking up quite a lot of the screen. Yeah, that's an option there just to think about too. If someone isn't interested in your offer and they click the little X and the pop-up goes away, you've then got settings here to basically say when do you want this person to be shown the form again. 2 weeks is quite a nice gap really, just to make sure that, you know, someone might re-engage with your site a couple of times, they might find out a little bit more about you, might be a little bit happier after a couple of weeks being approached with an offer now that they understand a little bit more about what you guys do and the problems that you solve. But there are options as well on the drop down. It could be a day, a week, a month. There's a few options there to choose from. If you've got so if your offer is for a webinar, you can add your contacts to GoToWebinar if you've got that integration too. As with your landing page forms, you've then got the option to send email notifications when someone submits your pop-up form to a certain email address. So yeah, you can add as many of those there. And then you can also set up opt-in emails as well. So if someone submits your pop-up form, then you can set up an email that automatically is dispatched to that person to get them to basically find out more about how you use their data and opt in to future emails from your business. Great. And then also you just need to make sure you're adding your follow-up email subscription type if you are using follow-up emails. Great. So once that's done, you've then got a little preview. So you have the opportunity to kind of try everything, fill out the form, and then this is your obviously privacy statement. Say I agree, download now. And then also if you don't fill in these, you can see that the error text is appearing as well. So let's just, fab. And then there you've got your thank you message, and then your download now option as well. So once you're happy with that, you've got a pop-up form. You can also test it as well on tablet and mobile. So if you know you've turned off your settings for small screens, you'll be able to see that on mobile just to check everything. And then once you're happy, you can hit publish, and then it will go live across your chosen pages. And that's how you set up a pop-up form.